What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Legacy Wednesday. Today we are going to go over the Gengar Prime deck, aka Lost World deck. I'm not sure what the exact name of this deck is. We're going to call it Gengar Prime, even though we have a bunch of different attackers in this deck, and you actually don't attack with Gengar. I mean, you kind of attack with Gengar Prime, but you're actually going to win with a Lost World. And we'll go over the deck, and we'll finally go over the Lost Zone and see what's it about. I know a lot of people don't know what the Lost Zone is, and today we're going to talk about it just a little bit. So as you see, we have a bunch of different Psychic Pokemon in here. And let's go over it. So like I said, our main attacker is going to be Gengar Prime. But before we talk about Gengar Prime, let's talk about how we're going to win. This is the only mechanic that I don't know, it's like the different way of winning that we haven't seen besides this one format. When Triumphant was released, a new card was brought into the game and a new way of winning. I think, no, this isn't, is this Triumphant? Is Lost World printed in multiple sets? Hold on one second. Lost World. Oh, it's printed in, is it two different sets? There's one and there's two. I guess it's Call of Legends. I'm not sure what set that is. I know this is Triumphant. What set is, I'm not sure what this is. Can't tell. Hold on, we're gonna figure it out together. Hold on, guys, we're gonna figure out this. Let's go to filters. Let's scroll down and let's find out what set this is from. Not Dragon's Exalted, we keep going down. Call of Legends, there we go. I thought it was releasing a different thing, but I guess it's just Call of Legends. So Call of Legends, man, I really think it was releasing something else. Hold on, this is gonna bug me. We're gonna find out here right now. Hold on, let's go to Lost World. Show not owned. Alright, so yeah, it must have been Call of Legends when this card was released, and brought a new mechanic to the game, and saying once during each player's turn, if that player's Pokemon, or if that player's opponent has 6 more Pokemon in the Lost Zone, that player may choose to win the game. And that's how we're going to win. We're going to put 6 Pokemon in my opponent's Lost Zone, and we're going to win the game. Now, if you're confused as what a Lost Zone is a space on the board where your opponent can never get stuff out of. What's there? It's there forever. There's nothing they can do. It's basically, I think it's where, like, Giratina lives, or, like, the special Giratina lives. I don't know its name. But once it goes there, you can never get it out of the Lost Zone. So let's figure out how we're going to put Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Alright, so we play a 4-3-4 Gengar deck. It is our main attacker. So we have Haunter. None of these Pokemon put stuff in the Lost Zone from Triumphant. We have a Gastly from Triumphant. But this Gengar Prime is what our main things we're going to use. Now, Catastrophe is a really cool Pokebody that we might use again one day, as long as Gengar is your active Pokemon to any of your opponent's Pokemon to be knocked out. Put that Pokemon in the Lost Zone instead of discarding. Discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. So one way that you could do it is knock out Pokemon that get put in the Lost Zone. Bigger to notice, Gengar Prime only does 4 damage counters. The second attack, Curse Shot, puts 4 damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like. So we're really not going to take knockouts with Gengar Prime. Now, you could play some cards that maybe like attack, switch with the bench, and then you can work that way. But we're going to go a different way. In this route, we're going to use Hurl into Darkness. Look at your opponent's hand and choose a number of Pokemon you find there up to the number of Psychic Energy attached to Gengar. Put the Pokemon you choose in the Lost Zone. So if you have 3 Psychic Energies on a Gengar Prime, you can Lost Zone 3 Pokemon in there, which is very neat if you have 3 Psychic Energies attached to it, which is very, very neat, and that's what we're going to try to do with Gengar. Now, this is going to be a little bit hard to set up. Remember, it's as many Psychic Energies as you have attached to it, so you need to attach a couple Psychic Energies. And to help us set up, we're going to use Mime Jr. Now, if you don't know, all the baby Pokemon in these days have a really cool bodies. A really cool body that makes it where if that Pokemon's asleep, they can't be hurt, which is really, really nice. And, it's nice because it partners with Sleepy Loss. So Sleepy Loss does not take an energy. You see these little colors? Does not take an energy card. Put the top card of your opponent's deck in the Lost Zone. Mime Jr. is now asleep. So what the plan is early game we're going to use Mime Jr., put a Pokemon in the Lost World or Lost Zone, and hopefully it stays asleep and it doesn't take any damage, and Mime Jr. fights for another day. We also play a Mr. Mime. Now, Mr. Mime has a cool attack, Trick Reveal. Once during your hand, before you attack, you may have both you and your opponent reveal your hand. This power can't be used if Mr. Mime is affected by a special condition. Now, you might be saying, why is that a big deal? Why do you care if you see your opponent's hand and your opponent see yours? Well, you have the option to attack with Mime Jr. or Gengar Prime, and you could base this off of Mr. Mime. If you realize, like, hey, my opponent has a bunch of Pokemon in there, I guess I'm going to use Hurl in the Darkness, or if they don't, you can use Mime Jr. instead. and we play a 2-2 Slowking line. Slowking has the ability, or Poke Power, Second Sight. Sorry, I keep saying ability, but their Poke Powers and Poke Bodies. Get it right, Squeaky. Alright, but Second Sight, once during your turn before you attack, give me a look at the top 3 cards of either player's deck and put them back on top of that player's deck in any order. So this way, it powers with Mime Jr. You can rearrange the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and guarantee that Pokemon in there. And if there's not a Pokemon in there, you could use Hurl in the Darkness instead. So you can see how there's all these different things that you can use. You can use Mime Jr., Gengar Prime, and also if you have 2 Slowkings, you can use one of your top 3 and one of your opponent's top 3. Or you can use it on your opponent's top 3. You don't like that, you can play it in, and then you can use it again. Now some people might say play a Mime Prime. Mime Prime can copy the attacks of a Pokemon in the Lost Zone. I actually don't like that because Mime Prime can be hurt, while Mime Jr. can't be hurt, so that's why we're not playing Mew at all. But one day we'll play a deck with Mime Prime for sure. Look out for that. But that's all the Pokemon in the deck, and it's a very strange line. It's 19 Pokemon. It is a lot. We could maybe cut down some, but that's what we're going to try out today. 1 Computer Search for consistencies, 3 Junk Arm, 4 Level Ball, 3 Communication because we play so many Pokemon. No Ultra Ball. We're going to be okay. 2 Random Receiver, 2 Rare Candy, 1 Super Rod, 4 N, 4 Oak, 2 Seeker, which is kind of a really cool card in this deck. I don't think we showed this card before, but each player returns one of his or her bench Pokemon, all cards attached to it, to their hand. You return your Pokemon first. So what we're hoping to do is we're going to turn one of our opponent's bench Pokemon, then we pick up like a Mime Jr. or whatever, and then we use Hurl in the Darkness, so that way we can guarantee a Pokemon to put in the Lost Zone, which is really, really nice. 2 Twins, which is nice because we're never going to be down, we're always going to be down on prize cards, but you only use this card if you have more prize cards left in your opponent. Well, we're not attacking, so of course it's going to work. Search your deck for any 2 cards, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. Obviously, this card is really, really good. I'm thinking about putting a third one in there, but a lot of times I do need more than 2 cards, so Twins sometimes not useful, but sometimes is great. 3 Lost World, we need this, of course, to put Pokemon to win the game, which is really, really nice, so we play 3 of them. 1 Float Stone because Slowking does have a 2 retreat cost, but everybody else has a 1 or less. Not that Slowpoke, sorry. Mr.Mime has a 1, Mime Jr. has a 0, Gengar has a 0, Hunter has a 0, and the Gastly has a 1 retreat cost as well. 2 Rescue Energy, which is really nice because if they do knock out your Gengar Prime, you can maybe set another one up pretty easily, but Rescue Energy says, provides a colorless energy. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack, put that Pokemon back into your hand. Discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. Now, we could cut 2 Rescue Energies and put 9 Psychic Energies, so that way you can guarantee like a bigger Hurl in the Darkness. I'm not 100% sure. I'm still new on the Gengar Prime deck. Like I said, some people are going to probably say play Mime Prime instead, but I really didn't like Mime Prime when I had it in there. But there you go, there's my version of the Gengar Prime deck. I am liking Legacy a lot more now. We can play a lot of these fun decks, and if you have a Legacy suggestion, let me know down below, and I'll try it out. We're going to see what happens. I am going to start playing a lot of these older decks like the Gengar Prime, and some other stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Mime Prime stuff with like Vanillix and Vileplume and some. We're gonna play some cool fun decks in Legacy now. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this deck introduction. Now, to be honest, this deck is actually really terrible in Legacy. A lot of players don't play a lot of Pokemon, so it's really hard to hurl Pokemon in the Lost Zone because they're just never gonna have Pokemon in their hand. And this format is really like EX heavy dominated, and Pokemon like trainers try to do like a ton of damage. So Gengar Prime is actually really bad in Legacy. I'm just giving that warning, but it is a lot of fun. It's going to be a challenge to put 6 Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Like I said, a lot of decks don't play a lot of Pokemon, so it is hard to do this. But hope you enjoyed this video. Can we get a win with the Gengar Prime deck or not? We'll find out today, and let's see the game right now. Alright, you're putting against Woofa, playing a water and a colors deck. Could this be a Blastoise deck? I'm not sure what the colors would be though, and we'll call heads like always, and we won the coin flip, which is great. It gives us a turn to put down our Gastlys, put an energy on it, get it set up a little bit onto our turn. What do we get? Alright, there's a Gastly, Slowpoke. My opponent has no base Pokemon. I guess we'll start with Gastly. That seems fine. We got the Slowpoke, we got the Mr.Mime, we can see what's in our opponent's hand, and we get to draw a mulligan, so that's all fine and dandy. Alright, there's a Toad, a Duat, okay. I'm fine with this. I want to play against these random decks, because Gengar Prime has a really, really hard time of winning. So we need all the help we can get playing against these random decks with all these evolutions. Alright, even then, it's still going to be a very, very hard matchup, but we'll press yes. We'll draw a Gengar, which is great. So I'm going to put a Psychic Energy in the active, and I'm just going to, let's use Trick Reveal. Let's see what's in our opponent's hand. Alright, no Pokemon are in there right now, okay? They're going to see Gengar Prime, other blah, 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 blah stuff. Alright, so let's end our turn. And next turn, we gotta hope we top deck something good. If we top deck something good, we can just communicate probably for a Slowking, maybe Junk Arm for another. We can't Pecom then. I guess, yeah, we can't Pecom. Well, I guess it depends what we top deck. Then we can Pecom again to get another Pokemon out. There's a Wattage to the active. We'll see a Level Ball. Gonna get somebody out and play. Let's see what does my opponent get. Now, if he gets an evolution and we hit a Rare Candy, we can put down a Lost Zone immediately, which would be great. But let's see what Fra has for us. Alright, there's a Duat. Oh, man, if we hit a Rare Candy, put down a Lost Zone, I would freak out. Alright, so let's see what happens. There's a Rain... Okay, what is that attack called? Rain Splash for 10. Alright, so on our turn, we get a Love Ball. Alright, so we'll Love Ball, and with the Love Ball, we'll grab a Hunter. Sure. We'll put the Hunter in the active spot. We will communicate. Put a Gengar into the deck, and with this, we'll grab a Slowking, okay. Alright, so put the Slowking down. And we will... I don't know if my opponent can knock us out next turn, so I'm kind of scared. We'll Second Sight our deck. We need to rearrange our top 3 cards, and there is an Oak. Oh, man, thank you, Slowking. You are the true MVP of this game. Alright, so we're going to, I guess we'll use Sneaky Placement. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to really take a knockout. We might take a knockout, though. We could use Curse Drop to maybe knock out somebody. But we're going to see a Duat come down. Can Duat knock us out? It needs to do 60 damage. Right now, this guy couldn't. Only 20 damage is the max it could have done. But let's see. Maybe Duat will do something. Duat will do something. I'm so clever. Looks like my opponent has like some kind of searching card. I saw this card flash. Oh, KirimiX coming down. Heavy Ball for KirimiX. Okay, that's scary. Is that the 30 everywhere? What does this guy do? Okay, 20 and 50. He's not taking a knockout. There's a Kirim. And okay, good. I thought this was the one that does like 30 everywhere. Water Energy deactive, okay? And we'll see a Rain Splash for 20 damage. Alright, so into our turn, what do we... Oh, we get this guy. Alright, so put down the Gengar. We will Oak. Shuffle our hand to deck and draw 6 new cards. I guess we could have gone Seeker to put the Kirim in the deck for sure. Or the Lost Zone for sure. Well, okay. I guess we'll put a Psychic Energy in the active. Do we go for a Curse Drop? Why not? We'll put 4 in the active. 1, 2. This is like the very unconventional way of doing this. I gotta sneeze too. Oh man! All right, so there's a it's not a knockout yet. Hold on. Oh my goodness! All right, sorry about that. Bless me. Thank you. All right. So on my opponent's turn, they draw a card. I kind of burned my nose. Water Energy to the active. There's a potion. Can we still knock it out next turn? 30, 40. No, another. Oh my gosh, double potion. Well, all right. There's a waterfall for 50. Okay. So on our turn, we'll Level Ball perfect top deck. We'll grab a Mime Jr. Okay. We'll put the Mime Jr. down. We are going to Computer Search, discard Pokemon Communication and the Rare Candy. And with this, we will grab a Professor Oak's New Theory. We do not want to grab that in because we know our opponent doesn't have... I mean, yeah, I guess we could grab an in, but I don't want to right now. I'm going to Oak, shuffle our hand to deck, and draw 6 new cards. There's a Gastly, okay. We'll put down the Gastly. Put a Psychic Energy on the Gastly. We will use the Mr.Mime's Trick... sure, we'll Trick Reveal, whatever. Okay, there's a Palpitoad's in there. Ooh, at any moment we can put that in the lost zone. I meant to use Second Sight, and we'll put my opponent's deck. Yeah, sorry, my ears ringing. So many things are going on right now with me. We'll put a Temple Vanillite. Yeah, we'll put those two in there. Fine. That way they won't draw a Cheren, so they can't play a supporter card. Alright, so those are going to go in there. We will free treat the Mime Jr. And we will go for a Sleepy Lost. And does Mime Jr. stay asleep or not? That's the question. So we'll put a Palpitoad in there. Oh no, we wake up! So he can get knocked out this turn. That's not good. Alright, so my opponent's turn. They're going to draw a card. And they're going to put down the Vanillite. Okay. A DC goes down to Kyurem. Okay. And we'll see a Waterfall for the knockout. Alright, so 50 damage going to our Pokemon. And we'll send up Gengar and let's see what happens. Alright, so on our turn, what do we do? There's a Haunter, so I'm going to put this guy down. I'm going to, do we have anything in the discard pile to even, no we don't, okay. Let's use Triggerville and let's see what's in my opponent's hand. Ooh, 2 Pokemon! Yes, we can put 2 of those in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to Second Sight. I'm gonna use our deck. I'm gonna rearrange cards of our deck. Random Receiver seems perfectly fine. We'll grab those cards, okay? And we will use... I'll put down the Mime Jr., of course, and we'll use Hurl in the Darkness. Put 2 Pokemon in there. My opponent will take a knockout, though, which is very unfortunate. So put 2 Pokemon in there. Going to 3 Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Oh, baby. Okay, so we know they're gonna draw a Cheren. And with the Cheren... I guess we should have... No, we had to use it ourselves. Sorry. Because we didn't know we were drawn to. But Cheren going to draw 3. We know they have a Pokemon in their hand, which they can put down. Or will they put it down? That's the real question. Oh my goodness, to get a Samurai. What's this guy do? Hydro Pump 70, 10 for each. Okay, okay. Alright, so that's another Pokemon in their hand. Alright, so they'll take a knockout, do 110 damage. They'll go down to 4 prize cards. We gotta put 3 more Pokemon in there before my opponent takes more prize cards. So let's go Mime Jr. Time to shine, buddy. On to our turn. What do we get? We get a Random Receiver. Of course, we know we're going to get a Random Receiver. And there's a Seeker. That's not what we wanted. Alright, so let's Junk Arm again. Putting these 2 guys back in there. Let's go. I mean, literally, if we get any other supporter card besides Seeker, we'll be okay. So let's go for Random Receiver. Let's try it. Number 2. And I don't even care if we get an in now. Okay, Twins. That's fine. Whatever. So let's Twins. And with Twins... we're going to grab a Gengar, and I'm going to YOLO and get a Psychic Energy, okay? We'll put down a Gengar. We'll put a Psychic Energy on the active. And put a Psychic Energy on the Gengar. Let's use Second Sight and on my opponent's deck. Can we put a Pokemon in there or not? So, opponent's deck. And there's a Lapras. Perfect. Let's put Potion and Escape Rope. That card seems pretty useless. And will Mime Jr. stay asleep or not? Is the big question. Now, if they don't, we can Seeker, put one of the Pokemon in their hand, and maybe put 6 Pokemon in there. And as we do wake up, but there's 4 Pokemon in there. I think there's 1 Pokemon in my opponent's hand. They're going to draw a card. But we can use Seeker, put another Pokemon in their hand. We can set up Gengar, and then all we'll have to find is a Lost World. There's a Crush Namer. Oh my goodness. Where did that come from? So how much does Hydro Pump do? 110, okay. If they find another Water Energy, they take a knockout. Very, very scary. So let's hit him Gengar, alright. So on our turn, do we find a Psychic Energy? There's a Random Receiver, so we'll play that. Okay, okay, there's an N. Alright, so we can get an N. We'll get an opponent down to 3. Oh, I guess that's okay. Yeah, we'll end. Put both of us at 3 cards, and let's see what do we get. All right, there's a Mime Jr. and a Psychic Energy. This is great. All right, so put down the Mime Jr. We will use Trick or Reveal, and let's see what's in my opponent's hand. Just a Vanillix. Okay, so we can at least put 1 in there if we want to. Let's use. Oh, I don't know if there's an energy in there. Psychic Sight. Let's put my opponent's deck. Okay. There's a Vanillish and 2 Water Energies. Okay, so I'm actually going to do that. Oh, man, what was it? What cards did they have? It was like Rescue Scarf, something else, and something else. Alright. What to do? So I'm going to put a Psychic Energy in this guy. What to do is the question. Alright. I know, Gengar, I see you dancing. Alright, so let's just free retreat into the Mime Jr. and let's just YOLO. Let's go for Sleepy Lost. And we stay asleep. Alright, good. Good, we haven't stayed asleep yet. So into our opponent's turn. So there's 5 in there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need one more Pokemon to be put in there. Okay, Rescue Scarves, Psychic Energy, Hydro Pump's not going to knock us out. And we wake up, which is perfect. Alright, so into our turn, what do we get? We get a Junk Arm. So I'm going to Slowking, use Second Sight. We'll see what's in my opponent's deck. Yeah, that seems great. Okay. 3 Water Energies, perfect. Okay. Let's use Trickerville. And let's see. I think there's a Pokemon in my opponent's hand though, and there's a Vanillix. Okay, this is fine because what we can do now is we can retreat into the Gengar. We can use. So there's 5 in there, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to use Hurl in the Darkness. We're going to put the Vanillix in the... we only put 1 Pokemon in there. Whatever. So we'll put 1 Pokemon in there, but next turn, we get Junk Arm, discard in, Computer Search, and get out the Lost World to win the game with Lost World. Alright, so 6 energy is only active. They're going to hit us for like 150 or something like that. 130, whatever. I wasn't doing math. But... they'll take a knockout, going down to 2, and you can see how bad of a deck this is in Legacy format. Like, it seems really cool on paper, but it's just not working. But we're going to Junk Arm, put 2 ends in there, so 1 and 2. We're going to grab a Computer Search, and we just got to hope that all of our Lost Words are not prized. That'd be very, very unfortunate. So let's Computer Search, put 1, 2 in there, and is one of our 3 Lost Words in the deck. Alright, there we go. Alright, so let's grab the Lost World. Let's put the Lost World down. And there it is. There is 6 Pokemon in the Lost one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's use the Lost World. And we won the game. It was a very anticlimactic win. Like, I thought you could, like, click Lost World. The screen will do something spooky. It will do something amazing. But, nope. Sadly, you just win. Like, that's it. Like, nothing else special happens. You just Lost World and that's it. Like... nothing special happens. But there you go. There is the Gengar Mime Jr. deck. We'll see one more game with the deck here in a second. And we'll see what happens. Do we have another exciting game or not is the big question. I know we're probably not playing against the best players. Like I said earlier, this deck is not the best for Legacy. It's definitely for fun. So many decks just auto knock you out because so many decks don't play that many like Stage 1 to Stage 2, so it's really hard for you to put Pokemon in the Lost Zone that easily. But we'll see one more game with the deck here in a second, then we'll see what happens on Legacy Wednesday. Alright, you're putting against Ethernal S, playing a Psychic and a Colors deck. Maybe some kind of Mewtwo deck. We'll find out here in a second. They're calling the coin flip, and do we get to go first or second? Hopefully we get to go first, so we can put a Gastly down, but regardless, we can get that turn 1, Mr.Mime, yes, Mime Jr, sorry. But our turn, let's see what happens. Okay, we got a mulligan, which I'm kind of glad, because our hand was really bad. Like, it's a really bad hand to have, but we're going to show our hand off. Okay, our opponent gets 2 Pokemon down, and we'll press done. Let's shuffle the hand back to the deck and draw 6, 7 new cards. Sorry, okay, there's a Mime Jr, which is perfect. I mean, the only bad thing is, back in the day, you could attack turn 1, and now you can't, so Mime Jr. could get knocked out turn 2, depending on what my opponent is playing. They're going to draw a mulligan, and there's a Ralt and a Route. Now, this is actually great for us because we know my opponent's going to play a bunch of Pokemon. So we're going to communicate, put that in the deck. We're going to grab a Slowpoke. How many Slowkings are in here? There's 1 Slowking, so we have 1 prize. Looks like our Mr.Mime is prized as well, which is unfortunate because we won't be able to tell what's in my opponent's hand. So let's grab the Slowpoke. We'll put that down on the field. And let's use a Professor Oak's New Theory. Gonna show up the hand into the deck and draw 6 new cards. Can we find a Gastly and an Energy? Okay, there we go. So we got a Gastly, we got a Psychic Energy, and we will just, can this knock us out? No, it can paralyze us, which could be scary. We'll end our turn onto our opponent's turn. Alright, but next we have a Love Ball. We can get out a Slowking. We can manipulate the top 3 cards of my opponent's deck. There's a Psychic Energy to the active. And there's a Psybolt and Tails. We are not paralyzed. Thank the Lord. Alright, so on our turn, what do we get? An end. That's perfect. So let's grab a Love Ball. We'll grab a Slowking. I don't know why I didn't put down the Gastly either. That was pretty silly of me. We'll grab the Slowking. Put down the Slowking, put down the Gastly, and we'll play an N. Now, we know my opponent didn't really play anything, but we need to get the Haunter, maybe some more Psychic Energies in play. There's a Psychic Energy, another Mime Jr. We can put that down. And we will use the Slowking, and let's see what's in my opponent's top 3 cards of their deck. So second sight, opponent's deck, and actually nothing is in there, but we put the Fresh Oak's New Theory, the Super Rod, and Psychic Energy, so that way we can at least put an Oak in the Lost World, Psychic Energy on the Gastly, and let's play a Random Receiver just in case my opponent plays in. I don't think they really will play an in, but there's an Oak going into our hand, and let's use Sleepy Lost. Gonna put my Mime Jr. to sleep. And we'll put the Fresh Oaks in the Lost Zone. And heads, we do wake up, so my opponent could take a knockout this turn. Oh, to my opponent's turn. Let's see what happens. They're going to draw a card. Alrighty, and do they have... What is Rot's Evolve... No, not a Glade. What? A Curlia, there we go. Oh, there's Curlia coming out, okay. Can Curlius knock us out? Double Slap could knock us out. There's a Psychic Energy active. Hypno, Toxic Laser. If it gets a Verbate, that can knock us out, Tails, okay. And... let's see, what does my opponent do? And there's an Oak, so they had a supporter card in their hand. I was trying to keep it where they don't have one. But they're going to draw 6 new cards, okay? And there's another Curly coming down, okay? And it's going to come down to a double slap and heads and a tail. So that will knock us out. It will do 20. Poison will bring it up to 30 damage. So my opponent will go into 5 prize cards. Alright, so let's go Mime Jr. Let's try it again. We're going to use an Oak. Alright, so on our turn, we get it in. Let's just play the Oak. That's fine. And there's a Psychic Energy. Okay, oh my goodness. Okay, this is not great. Alright, so we have 3 Psychic Energy on Gastly. Like, if we get a Gengar out, we'll be okay. But let's use Second Sight. My opponent's deck. Oh my goodness. Alright, so it's Psychic, and a Douse Machine. Okay. We'll put down the Mime Jr. We'll go for a Sleepy Lost. Alright. They'll put a Psychic Energy in the Lost Zone. And we stay asleep, which is great, so now our opponent can't hurt us this turn. On to my opponent's turn. Now, if we get the Rare Candy Gengar, we can use her on the Darkness and put 3 Pokemon in there. If there's 3 in there, there's a Psychic Energy going to Curlia. And let's see, does my opponent have a supporter card or not? We know they just tapped a Psychic Energy, which they put on the Curlia. And I might just start powering up this other Gastly as well, because we already have 3 energies in this guy. There's a Float Stone going out to the active, okay? Color's going to get 5 new cards. My opponent will range the top cards of their deck. And let's see, can my opponent find a Gardevoir, a Gallade? Looks like my opponent is playing the Gardevoir. Alrighty. A Cleffa coming down. We might see an Eek. Okay, there's another Gardevoir coming out, alright. And let's see, does my opponent retreat into Cleffa and use Eek? Eek, shuffle your hand into deck and draw 6 cards. They are asleep. And yeah, they're gonna use a Cleffa, gonna use Eek, gonna put the gonna rearrange, shuffle their hand into deck and draw 6 cards. There we go. Alright, so on our turn, we wake up, okay? My opponent stays asleep. Alright, so on our turn, we get a Level Ball. Alright, so we're gonna Level Ball, and with this, we'll grab a Haunter. Haunter, come to me! Alright, so we'll use Haunter. The question is, do we rearrange our top 3 cards or my opponent's top 3 cards? Like, I'm kind of contemplating putting more in there. But if my opponent stays asleep, we can maybe get a Gengar next turn. We'll put a Psychic into the Gastly. And yeah, let's just second sight my opponent's hand. That seems okay. My opponent's deck, okay. And nothing still. So Psychic, and a Bicycle, sure. No, let's give him a let's put the Bicycle on the Lost Zone. That seems better. So let's get Bicycle, Psychic, okay. I guess we should have done our hand, but you never know. I mean our deck. So we use Sleepy Lost. Gonna put the Bicycle in the Lost Zone. And we do stay asleep. My opponent stays asleep as well, so they can't attack us this turn. Oh, it's my opponent's turn. Unless they have a switch, then they could attack this turn. There's a Giratina coming down, alright. There's an EXP share. Whoop, I don't know, I didn't click that. Level Ball, okay. So my opponent does play a lot of Pokemon. We're just getting very unfortunate with the Slowking. Second sight, come on, buddy. Alright, but let's see what the Level Ball gets out for my opponent. There's a Routes coming down. So another Routes coming online. This will be my opponent's 3rd Routes. We got a Hope Seeker puts in some work. A second, you're going to the Routes. Juniper, going to discard the hand. Drawing 7 new cards. Alrighty. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. If we top deck a Gengar, I'm definitely going to use her on the Darkness. And we wake up, okay. My opponent wakes up as well. Okay, so on to our turn. What do we top deck? There is a Float Stone. Alright, so let's use let's use second sight on us. And let's see, what do we rearrange? So we'll put the Oak Communication, and that doesn't matter afterwards. So we'll put those three on top. Let's Float Stone the Slowking. It doesn't have for retreat. And we'll just go for a Sleepy Launch. Just put whatever in the Lost Zone. And do we get lucky or not? And nope, another Psychic Energy. And Tails, we do stay asleep though, which is great. So my opponent cannot hurt us unless they play catcher or something. And let's see, this guy does Mind Shock 60. This guy does 60 as well. Are we resistant? No, we're resistant to colors. Okay. So let's see what happens. Giratina could be scary. The Shadow Claw is definitely scary because we can discard a random card from our hand. Yeah, Giratina could be scary because they can discard a card from our hand. So, but we see another Eek, and this is going to be great because my opponent's going to shuffle their hand into the deck, and maybe they'll draw into a bunch of Pokemon and get the Gengar out, and maybe be okay, but do we wake up or not? And no, we stay asleep. We both stay asleep. Alright, so on our turn, we get an Oak. We're going to play it, going to shuffle our hand into the deck and draw 6 new cards. Okay, there's a Gengar. Finally, we got a Gengar line. Alright, took us long enough, right? We can use Twins next turn as well. So we'll put a Psychic Energy on the Gastly. And we'll use Second Sight. Gonna rearrange the top 3 cards of my deck. And I guess we'll put an Oak on top. And then these two. So that we can play the Twins, get 2 cards, then use an Oak, and we'll be okay. Alright, so we're in our turn. Let's see, does Mr.Mime. Okay, Mime Jr. stays asleep, and Cleffa stays asleep as well. So it looks like my opponent cannot get attack off this turn, which is great with me. What we can do next turn is Seeker, Twins to get a Seeker and a Gengar, Rare Candy Gengar, and that way we can use Seeker the following turns. There's a Hypno, Toxic Laser, and we're not asleep, but we are still asleep, okay? And let's see, what does my opponent decide to do? There's Psychic Energy on the Gardevoir, okay? And anything else or not is a big question. Do they have any Pokemon in their hand? Because if I use Hurl in Darkness, they don't have any. I might freak out. But there's a Juniper. Going to discard the hand. Drawn 7 new cards. No Pokemon are in their hand when they just did that. There's a Mewtwo EX coming down. That could be very scary. And there's a pass. And we stay asleep again. My opponent stays asleep as well. But man, this Mime Jr. staying asleep is hurting us. Alright, so we're going to use Twins. We're going to grab, what'd I say? A Gengar and a Seeker. That seems great. We'll put those 2 cards in our hand. We will Rare Candy into the Gengar. And we will just pass on to my opponent's turn. Yep, alright, so we'll take another 10 damage. Regardless, the Mime Jr. is going to get knocked out. The Cleffa wakes up as well. Alright, so on to my opponent's turn. Now, what we can do is Seeker, send the Gengar, and least Hurl in the Darkness 1 Pokemon. There's a Psychic Energy on a Mewtwo EX. Okay, X-Paw could be very, very scary if he powers it up. Right now, X-Paw is only doing 20. I think, let's see. Each basic Psychic counts as 2. Alright, sir, just another Eek, okay, and I'm fine with this Eek. They can maybe draw into more Pokemon. Alright, we have yet to put any Pokemon in the Lost Zone, though. We put 2 Psychic Energies, Oak and a Bike. But they're going to take a prize card, going down to 4. I'm going to send the Gengar, and let's see what's going to happen. On to our turn. What do we, we know what we're going to get. There's an N, okay. Did we not use Second Sight last time? I'm not sure. But let's use Seeker. My opponent has to return a Pokemon in their hand. We're going to pick up a Mime Jr. And let's see who my opponent decides to pick up. Is it the Giratina? Is it the Routes? Okay. Oh, it's going to be okay, it's going to be the Routes. We'll put down the Mime Jr. Let's use Second Sight. And we're using it on my deck. And let's see, what can we top deck? I guess, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Level Ball. It's how we can get a Haunter. And now we get 2 cards out of our deck. So we'll put those 2 cards in our hand. And we rearrange those top 3 cards of our deck. And let's use Hurl into Darkness. And there is 1, 2, 3. So we put 3 Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Alright, so that's great. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3. We need to put 3 more in the Lost Zone to win the game. Alright, so my opponent draws a card. 13 cards left for my opponent. We know they don't have any Pokemon in their hand. But what we could do is play in. Maybe give my opponent a new hand of 6. Now, will Mewtwo knock us out? There's a Float Stone going down onto the Mewtwo, okay? And let's see now. They're going to set up Mewtwo. I'm not sure how much damage this is going to do. Let's see. Does he go for, okay, an X-Ball? It's going to do 140. Oh, yeah. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. Yep. Alright, so opponent take a prize card. Going down to 3. Let's set up Mime Jr., okay. Let's see what happens. On to our turn, we get a Love Ball, like I said, so we'll play the Love Ball. We'll get out a Gastly. Okay. Put the Gastly down, and do we go for the in or the Oak? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Second Sight, rearrange top 3 cards of my opponent's deck, and let's see, is there any Pokemon in the top 3? There is. So we'll put a Mewtwo, Gallade, and a Psychic Energy, okay? So we'll put those 3 in their hand. We're going to use an Oak, going to shuffle our hand up and draw 6 new cards. Alrighty, and we got a Gengar for next turn. A Rescue Energy going to the Gengar as well, and we're going to use a Sleepy Lost, okay? We're going to put a Pokemon in the Lost Zone, and we stay asleep, which is great. So now my opponent has 1, 2, 3, 4. If my opponent does not shuffle their hand, we know they have a Pokemon in there. We can use Seeker. They pick up another Pokemon. We can send this Gengar and take a knockout. The question is, though, can we find a Lost Zone before my opponent takes his last 3 prize cards? That's the big question. Let's see. There's a Douse Machine. Go and discard a Juniper and a... oh, man, that's 2 Oh, man, he puts another Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Alright, and tells... okay, doesn't matter. But do we wake up or not is the question. Alright, so we know he has 1 Pokemon in his hand. Wait, do we know? We don't. He actually lost on... I mean, he actually Douse Machine 1 way, so he might not have another one in there. Retreats to Clef, and looks like he's going to go for an Eek. Oh, actually, he's not going to go for an Eek. He's just going to pass, alright? On to our turn. We get a Junk Arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Junk Arm. Discard the... the Random Receiver and the Slowpoke, and with this, we're going to grab a Rare Candy. We are going to Rare Candy into the Gengar. We will free retreat into the Gengar Prime. We are going to use Seeker to pick up our Mime Jr. My opponent will have to put 1 Pokemon in his hand. We'll pick up the Mime Jr. And let's see what my opponent decides to pick up. Does he pick up the Giratina? Hopefully he picks up the Gardevoir. That'd be perfect. But oh my goodness, he picks up the Gardevoir. We don't have the game yet. Let's put down the Mime Jr. We'll use Hurl into Darkness. We'll put 2 Pokemon. We'll put this guy and sure this guy. Okay, so we'll put 2 in there. Now the question is, can we find a lost world? How many have we played? We haven't played any, I don't think. No, we have not. Okay, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 Pokemon in there now. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here comes Mewtwo. My opponent's going to use X-Ball. Going to go to 2 prize cards. Alright, so X-Ball. We have 2 turns to find this lost world. Let's see what happens. So let's take a knockout, doing 180 damage. The Gengar line returns back into my hand. We'll put down the Mime Jr. And let's see what happens. Okay, on to our turn. We get a Twins, and yes, Twins will save us. So we'll grab the Twins. We'll use Lost World to Lost World, put both of those in our hand. We'll put down the Lost World, and once again, we will click the Lost World. If you have 6 Pokemon in the Lost Zone, you may choose to win the game, and let's win the game, and there you go. There's another victory with the Gengar Prime deck playing against the Mewtwo Gardevoir deck. Now, I know this probably wasn't the most, I don't know, like, craziest game, but man, this is really hard to set up. Gengar Prime is not the best in Legacy, like I said before, but it is a lot of fun to see Gengar Prime actually win a game, especially since, like I said before, this is one of the most hyped cards coming out, and when Triumphant was announced, like, everybody thought that this was going to be the deck. They thought this was going to be the coolest strategy ever. But as you see, it's really hard to set up. But there we go. We actually won with the Gengar Prime deck. And I'm excited because I've actually never won with this deck, like I said earlier. So it's really cool to see this deck finally take a game. I just wish they just made the ending a lot bigger, a lot crazier or something, except just victory screen popping up. But hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Legacy Wednesday. Hopefully you enjoyed Gengar Prime and seeing it finally take a game. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a great Wednesday. Alrighty. Bye. Alright guys, just want to give a quick shout out to our 2 sponsors, 60 Cards and Yeti Gaming. The links are down below to their websites. Make sure you go check them out. Alrighty.